anyone, the young kids out there listening, don't get into record collecting. Just don't do it.
That was internet radio DJ John Binder. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco. Welcome to episode 22, part 2. Though he works part-time at a hospital, music is a big part of John's life. Whether it's the venue calendars he's constantly checking out, the hundreds of live shows he's been to over the years, or his show on Radio Valencia, Tighten Up Your Wig, music is, as John puts it, a good friend. Also, and this comes about halfway through the episode, if anyone listening does know when the Hemlock Tavern opened, please let us know. Here's John.
Enjoy what we have. It's really cheap. It's still cheap. Like, these shows are, Parkside, you're never going to pay more than $12.
Right.
And people bitch about that, yet they'll go get a $17 martini down the street.
Right.
It's just like, try to keep it in perspective. There's like 19 people playing in these bands on this bill.
Mm-hmm.
They're working for like pizza and like beer tickets, and
plus all the money it costs to have equipment and rent practice studios.
Of course, and drive across the country to come to your shitty little rock and roll club. It's like, I'm hoping that, things will get, people will recognize that and like have sympathy for, but it's kind of, I'm not sure exactly, the jury's still out, but it seems that, it's kind of dying. And it comes and goes, and rock and roll comes and goes, and punk rock comes and goes, and I'm not saying that, technology's killing, because in a lot of ways, like, technology is exposing cool kids to really cool music.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the old days, I'm almost 50 years old, man. In the old days, like, you just knew cool people, and that's how you got the cool music.
Yep.
And you might, read Rolling Stone magazine or Spin or, whatever, the cooler magazines back in the day, or a zine here and there, but like, you're pretty much at the mercy of the universe to like figure out these things.
Either some cool kid in the neighborhood, or like someone's cool parents, or like you said, the magazines were huge.
And actually, the parents thing was, because you could steal their records, because they were, they'd been these hippies who became yuppies who like were driving BMWs, and like they weren't really, guarding their record collection, so you could like kind of pilfer that.
Right.
And that's what I did, and I'm not proud of that, but it's like, they're not listening to it. I really want this record. I can only mow so many lawns or whatever to make, money back in the 80s. I'll just take this record. I'll take this Traffic record. I'll take this Cream record. I'll take this Hendrix record, Frank Zappa, whatever it may be. And that's, so that builds the foundation of your own personal taste level. And then you spread that to other people. And it still works that way. And if you live in San Francisco and you like music and you bitch about, there's nothing to do in San Francisco, it's changing so much, it's just not as fun as it used to be, oh my God. It's like, go see live music. But there's some really good record stores in town. 1234 Go is a great place to buy really high quality used records, $12 to $16 range, sometimes less. And sometimes I'll find something I know is rare and it's like $9. I'm just like, I get up to the counter, and the guy's like, "Oh wait, no, this is nah, it's too late, dude. The price tag's on it."
Price is price.
Yeah, Amoeba's not the best place to buy records now, but if you dig through the bargain stuff, you'll find something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just price to move, man. Discogs kind of screwed all that up. Everyone knows what things are worth now. It's always like $1 or less from the Discogs price, which is fine. But, it's all been commodified, and I'm buying less vinyl now than I ever have, in a way, just because it's gotten too expensive. But, I like going into the ma and pa stores when I'm traveling, or even, in the Bay Area. There's a place called Mod Lang in the East Bay.
Mm-hmm.
El Cerrito. I'll go over there and, I'll kind of flirt with the girl that works there, and she gives me good prices on, like, old, like, 60s shit, whatever, it's like, I'm a whore. I'll whore myself out for a cheap, like, whatever it may be. I remember going to the Covered Wagon. They were doing, at least by 97, they were doing, what was it? Stinky's Peep Show. Mm-hmm. Did you ever see that?
No.
So that was the premier, like, Thursday night punk rock thing. a lot of LA bands, really great DJs. The best like rock and roll DJs of the time would play that Thursday night. But I mean, probably the first big show, like the first like show at the Fillmore may have been like the Cramps and Halloween. I'm pretty sure, because I remember moving here in 96. I'm pretty sure the Cramps, I'm not positive. I know I for sure 97 because it's over there, yeah. 97 or 98. But probably the Cramps, which I'd seen, I was living in Colorado before I moved here, and they would play New Year's Eve, and they would play Halloween in San Francisco for years and years. But, the underground shows, I don't remember, man, but maybe the Covered Wagon, because that was just like kind of the place. And I miss that place. I mean, that was such just a cool room. I remember seeing Plan 9. It was like a Misfits cover band that used to play a lot around here.
Nice.
Deadbolt, all these cool bands from like San Diego and LA would come up here. It was a band called the Super Bees. I remember seeing them because they crashed at my place. I remember bands from just like, they're just like, hey man, you're partying kind of late, and they're like, you mind if we crash at your place? It's like, yeah, sure. How many guys are in the band? Because I'm living in like 250 square feet,
right,
at the Alhambra building, which was a crazy place. You do your laundry and like literally be chickens just walking around. It was great, man. It's just like families had chickens in the building.
Yeah.
And I didn't, for me, it was just like, that seems reasonable. Anyways, I was going to tell a story about seeing a show at Hemlock years ago. I guess it was the early 2000s. I was going to say late 90s, but I don't think it was there yet. It's good to be fact checked every once in a while on a semi-live podcast. But
maybe we've got a couple of weeks, so maybe I will do my due diligence
and
fine. Really find out when it opens.
I need to know too. I still go there a lot, and it's a great place. But there was a band called the Piranhas from Detroit. You remember them? Did you ever hear the Piranhas? Okay.
I don't.
They were this really cool band. They'd made a couple singles that were great. And I started, bugging their manager. It's like, hey, you got to do a West Coast tour. You guys got to come out here. I can get you a gig. I didn't actually get them the gig at Hemlock, but I just kept bugging this guy. And finally he's like, all right, yeah, we're going to L.A., Portland, Seattle, wherever, San Francisco. And they did a show at the Hemlock. And I showed up early, and I was just like so happy. And I was just like, I'm so happy you guys are here. And I was talking to the manager, and like, the band was really cool. And, we're getting drunk and just having fun. But they're from Detroit, and they had that like kind of Iggy Pop, Stooges, like, fuck you in the face type attitude. But I was just, they had an organ. They had like a Farfisa. It was just a weird punk band. And I was so excited, man. I had all their fucking records, everything they'd made up to that point. And they get on stage, but the lead singer, like, he's a guy that cuts himself. He does this Iggy Pop type of thing, which is cool. Which to me is like sometimes distracting. It's like I just want to see the band,
Right.
But whatever, man. It was all about him. The guy gets up on a little tiny table. The band had just started, and they're fucking wild, man. It's a really crazy sound. This guy gets up, he falls off the table, lands on a pint glass. His hand was cut open, and it was like arterial blood just like squishing out of his hand, like blood everywhere. And he was freaked out. He's looking at it. There's like blood squirting in his face, and there's blood all over the place. And the guy this is like within 30 seconds of the band starting. And I was just like, huh? And he runs out the back door, the back door there in the Hemlock, and just keeps running. And like I'm looking out the little window, and he's just like fucking running down the alley. And the band's just like looking at each other, and they just like, they
keep playing?
No, they finished the song. They're just like, all right, we're done. It was so disappointing. Because I really, really, truly, more than any band in so long, I wanted to see this like little tiny itty bitty punk rock band from nowhere doing their thing, and I never really heard what happened after that.
I was gonna ask, yeah.
Where
did he run?
I don't know, but it was like he was on fire. It wasn't, why would you run if you're like bleeding to death?
Yeah, maybe.
Wrap it up, and people do weird shit when they get hurt, but
sure,
it was strange. And I waited around. I was like, all right, maybe he'll come back. Maybe they'll get the blood, but in that case, you go to General Hospital, and a vascular surgeon like sews your arteries back together.
Yeah,
and you move on from there.
So wait, he fell on a pint glass. Did he break it in the fall?
I think so.
Okay.
It's kind of dark there, but he jumped up on a little tiny table. They used to have these. Maybe they still do. And he was up there singing, and he just like fell, and everything smashed. It happened really fast, obviously. And he just stood up, and there's just blood squirting in his face from
Like a
his own
Monty
hand.
Python movie in front of his face.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that was mildly disappointing, but, it made for a good story. My ex-girlfriend knew this girl, and I went to her wedding in Texas, in San Antonio, and I made her and her, they're divorced now, of course, but, I saw her, she's like, oh yeah, you're that guy, you made that tape, you made us that tape, and I was like, oh yeah, it was amazing. Their wedding was great. It was like on top of this little like mini skyscraper with like this amazing band and all this cool stuff. And she literally said, the only thing left from that marriage is the tape.
Holy shit.
The only good thing left from, and their kid. And I was just like, whoa, that's kind of cool.
That's, yeah.
Yeah. And now she's
lasting.
Like, yeah, no, it's great. So I saw her at the makeout room. She was DJing. It's just cool to like, have that connection with other people. But what I was going to say is lately I've been going through all, because OCD brain was just like write down every song you ever made on any of these mixtapes. And I made like 30, 40 tapes for certain people.
Yeah.
So I've been digging through all those songs and just like looking for like, we're talking like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago. And just like kind of going through all these, thousands and thousands of songs. And every once in a while I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that song. So then I look it up. I see if it's on my iTunes. I see if I have the record. And then all of a sudden I have this exciting thing to play on my radio show.
1 of 40.
Yeah.
Check it out.
1 of 40. Yeah, you build around these old songs, or, it's just cool to revisit a song you haven't heard in a long time.
Totally.
And that's what music is, it's like, it's just always a good friend. It's always going to be there for you.
Yeah.
And it's always going to make you happy. I mean, there's obviously a few songs that are going to make you sad, remind you of whatever, but that's kind of what I like about doing the show, it's just like trying to tell a story with those 40 songs, or, have themes. I don't get too thematic, but, it's just, it tells a story, and it tells something about you. And I mean, that's what I like about DJing in general. It's like, holy shit, this guy's really fucking cool. Or you walk into a place and it's like, this is whack as shit. This guy doesn't know anything about music, or whatever, it's like, it's more, but generally it's just a positive thing, which, we need more of that in this world.
Yeah.
I mean,
you could say that.
More so now, but you always have needed, there's always been negativity, and we always need, music is the one, like, it just breaks through that great double helix. It's just like, boom, it's there.
Yeah.
You enjoy it. You know what it is. Kids dance to it. Old people dance to it. I don't know.
Where'd you get the name? Tighten your wig?
Tighten Up Your Wig.
Tighten Up Your Wig.
I stole that from a Steppenwolf song, actually. And that's stolen from an old blues song. I don't remember the name, but yeah, man, it just came off the top of my head. So, I met this guy, and he's like, we were talking about music at a bar, and he's like, hey man, you want a radio show? And I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it. And he's like, all right, give me a call within 24 hours.
As all great endeavors start.
I know, yeah. It was. Want
to do this? Yeah, sure.
I never did college radio.
Okay.
I'd never even seen college radio. I've never been on anyone else's show. Because you're always going to influence people. And that's the cool thing about being a DJ. It's like, people will come up to you and just be like, holy shit, what is that? And I do that too. It's just like, what the fuck is that?
Yep.
And when you have that moment, like, everyone's happy, right? The DJ's like stoked that you're recognizing their cool music, and it's, and
you're learning stuff, and then you get to go look that band up and get more of their music,
right? And then now, like we were saying, now it's easier to do that than ever before, and that's cool. I mean, that's always a positive, because people, they bitch about that. It's like, oh, these young kids have it so easy now. It's like, who gives a shit? If I would have had it that easy back in the day, I would be that much further ahead with my own taste level,
Yeah.
But I think, it's kind of cool. I work with this dude. He's like in his late 20s or whatever. And he'll play music while we're working, and he'll play like, some shit from like the 20s and 30s. I'm like, holy shit, how do you know all these old songs? He's like, oh, it's in a video game, man. I'm like way into this stuff. Yeah, so that's you're starting to see that, because no one turned me on to like 20s jazz.
Yeah.
Or like, whatever it may be. And that's exciting. I mean, for me, that's just because that's going to flower into something else for someone else. For someone else, maybe 10 years from now, it's like, oh shit, yeah, I really like, jazz from the 30s. It's like, really?
From a video game.
From a video game.
Who knew?
I know. I mean,
I knew that the video game production values are like insane.
Yeah.
But I thought it was mostly the play and the animation.
I think a lot of it is now because again, music just makes everything enhanced.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're shooting the bad guy, or the Red Baron's like flying through. I have no idea what's going on in these games. But, I mean, I'm assuming they're like old timey type games. But yeah, they're playing all this old stuff, and like young kids are getting exposed to this shit, and it's like wow. Well, we should probably talk about the go-go ballet experience, or I like to talk about DJing in San Francisco, or just like some of the weird experiences I've done or had, goofing around with the DJing thing. And one thing I've done through the years is I have a couple portable record players. So when we go up the coast, we'll go to like Point Arena or Big Sur or wherever, places on the coast. I could go for like a week and just hang out, like hot tub and goof around.
Ooh, yeah.
But I always bring a lot of records, and I'll just like wildcat DJ. I'll just walk into a place. And I mean, they're really suspicious. These little tiny towns on the coast. You walk in, I mean, like the music stops, everyone looks at you.
Auslander.
Yeah. And, have a couple drinks and convince the bartender that, you have good music. Because I always have like surf music. I'll have like old music. I have a lot of like weird shit. So it's like, you can make pretty much everyone happy. I'll bring some country music, whatever it takes. But once you get the locals kind of like, their confidence, like it's on. So then you can like DJ night after night, or as much as you want, pretty much. And it spreads like wildfire. It's like, oh yeah, there's a weird guy from San Francisco here with a bunch of cool music, man. Check it out. But yeah, I've done like the Henry Miller Library.
Oh, nice.
I've done bars in Big Sur that are really like super local only type of place. It's always been a lot of fun. But and up north too, like Point Arena is a great town. There's a really great bar there called what is it? Something the Sign of the Whale. And like the door's always shut, so it's like you look in, you're like, okay, probably not the place to go in. That's a locals only joint. Yeah, I've DJed there a few times, but anyways, my girlfriend Leonora, she and I, we're always together on these trips, and we've done some really cool things in San Francisco. Also, she's a trained ballet dancer.
Okay,
but she, that doesn't mean a whole lot when it's like 4 a.m. and you're just like boogieing around your own apartment. So she likes, the 60s go-go type dancing, the boogaloo and all these like old weird dances. So she'll do like the boogaloo on point. She'll be like doing these like classic ballet type moves. So that was always, to me, that was just always awesome. I was like, oh yeah, do that thing, do that fucking, So at some point I'm like, all right. And it was funny. She had just got her first job, and we were like at this happy hour in some horrible place in Chinatown, and it's like called Z65. They have like Jello shots. It's in an alley. It's actually kind of awesome. But we cracked this little thing where it's like, okay, I'll like have my portable record player and I'll play some like old punk rock, and you dance classical ballet to like this awful music. It sounds shitty. It sounds like a blender. It's awful, really, really awful sounding, because like one speaker. It's not in stereo. It's awful.
One speaker, 2 tracks.
Yeah.
3 chords.
A couple chords. Yeah, not more than 3 or 4 chords. And then she's like 5'10". She's like on point. She's like 6'3" or whatever. And she's just like doing these like classical moves.
Oh my god.
And so it's like we did this a couple times. But one of the first gigs we had was on Bush Street, the street I live on, a couple like less than a block from where we're sitting now. This kid, Sean Stewart, really cool dude. He just fucking moved into this old shoe store or whatever, and he started a revolutionary bookstore like half a block from here, right? And they're setting things up, and it's really cool. And he was around. He was like way into like bringing in like local artists, a lot of really good painters, and like because downtown, I mean, within like 6 blocks of here, there's so many good artists. It's insane.
Yep.
And I mean, I got to know a lot of them because of this bookstore.
Mm-hmm. But
we were the first act. So I played like some shitty old like Fear records or whatever, and Leonora was dancing, and then it kind of evolved. She started doing more like 60s go-go, and that was like go-go ballet, and it was fun, man. We did our act there like 3 or 4 times. And then we started doing other places. We've done like places in the Mission.
So the whole act was called Go-Go Ballet?
No, the act was called. We changed the name every time. I think it started out as the Kittens of Dysfunction. whatever the other names, I don't remember. We do these elaborate signs, and at the time I was doing like weird sculpture with like wire sculpture. This kind of elaborate, like what else? Kittens of Dysfunction, and we had another name that kind of became the name. And yeah, we were doing like promos, and like people were taking our photographs, and we were kind of trying to promote it a little bit. But for the most part, it was just like you just show up and do your thing. But I wanted to like expand it. I wanted to start doing like, like I had all these like weird ideas, just like open up for bands. You could open up for anything, because it doesn't matter what kind of music I play. She's like such a beautiful dancer that's just like you can't say no to this act.
Yeah.
You can do it anywhere. And we've done it in some pretty bizarre places. But
are there any other punk rock ballet acts that you know of?
No. I mean, I wish there were a hell of a lot more. I wish there was some competition out there.
Music, I mean,
yeah, no, there should be. I mean, SF Ballet is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have asked me 10 years ago if I'd be going to the ballet 4 or 5 times a year, I'd say absolutely not. But SF Ballet is cool, man. They actually do some rock and roll ballet. I mean, there's some really good choreographers at SF Ballet. And I mean, Leonora, my girlfriend, she's like an ambassador for SF Ballet.
Okay.
And I actually really enjoy going. And they're doing Frankenstein. They're doing Frankenstein on Friday. Yeah, so
I'm
that's
really into that.
But they did one, I can't remember the name. I think it's called Kronos or Chroma years ago. It was like they did this ballet to a White Stripes song. So it's like ballet is actually, it's not necessarily just for blue-haired people anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Michelle, she's someone that comes to ballet with us. So now we just have a gang of and like some cool people. It's not like just a bunch of prissy people who are like, let's go to the ballet. It's like, no, we go to the ballet, you get like 17 bottles of champagne and do it upright.
Is it affordable?
It's not
Tickets
too bad.
are a little,
yeah.
But but you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. You definitely get. There's a lot. I've never left there just being like, oh, that sucked.
Right.
It's never a waste of money at all. You can get day of tickets too. I mean, if you go like on a Tuesday, it's like $25.
That's not bad.
But I think there's a lot of, value for the money, and these people like they hobble their feet. I mean, they die for their craft, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just went to the symphony with a friend of mine who'd never been. And it's just kind of like really awesome to see the people you go with. Just like they're on like cloud 9. And I mean, I am too almost every time. It's just like that was really fucking awesome, And you need more of that in your life. Because, I mean, when you see a really great show or someone you've just been anticipating seeing for a long time or something that just like took you by surprise and was really great, like that keeps you going for 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
Sometimes weeks at a time. I mean, I'll still be thinking about, and that's something we do a lot. Seeing live music, and there's so much of it here. It's just like if you're not doing stuff like that, you're one of the people that are complaining about, oh, San Francisco's dying. It's not as good as it used to be.
Right.
It's like, you know what? Get out there. And actually, you know what, dude? I would like to have like a little column, or at least like start making lists of like what makes San Francisco great. And maybe it could come out in whatever, it doesn't have to be the SF Chronicle or whatever. But it's just like, like North Beach. What are the greatest places in North Beach? Vesuvius, Specs, the Saloon. Like, if you live in San Francisco, you haven't been to the Saloon in the last month.
Saloon still does live music?
Fuck yeah. 7 nights a week, man.
Yeah. Please remember to follow Storied San Francisco on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All the episodes and Michelle Kilfeather's photos of storytellers are up on the website, storiedsf.com. Other ways to listen include Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can reach us by email at storiedsf@gmail.com. Music for the podcast is by Joe Begale. Film photography is by Michelle Kilfeather. Thanks for listening. Check back next week when we'll hear from Red Cross Disaster Program Specialist Allison Bittinger.